Good morning, y'all. It is Thursday, April the 10th, and I am going to be straight with you right out of the gate this morning because that is the only way I know how to do this. I woke up early, pulled up the models, sat with my coffee, and spent about 2 hours just going through the data over and over again, hoping I was misreading something, hoping that one of the ensembles was going to come in and say, hey, relax, this is not as bad as it looks. And y'all, that ensemble never came. Every single model run I have looked at this morning is telling the same story. And that story is that this weekend storm, the one that a lot of people in the path have been aware of in a general kind of way, but have not fully appreciated yet, is about to get serious. Not a little serious, not slightly more rain than expected serious, seriously serious. The kind of serious that changes your weekend plans, that changes your travel decisions, that changes whether or not you're prepared for an extended power outage or a flooding situation or a tornado in the middle of the night. And because I care about y'all more than I care about being the guy who said everything was fine when it was not, I am recording this forecast today, right now on Thursday morning, so that you have maximum time to do something about what is coming before it gets there. Let me start by just painting the broad picture of what this storm actually is, because I think a lot of folks have been hearing about a weekend storm system and picturing something relatively routine, some rain, maybe some wind, maybe a few thunderstorms, back to nice by Sunday evening. And I completely understand why the general framing of this has felt manageable so far. Early in the week, the models were showing a fairly typical spring low pressure system tracking across the central states. Nothing historically alarming, but y'all, what has happened over the past 48 to 72 hours in the model data is that this system has undergone what we call rapid intensification. It has tapped into a jet stream energy source that is significantly stronger than what was anticipated earlier in the week. And it has found a moisture reservoir in the Gulf of Mexico that is running well above normal for this time of year. And when a storm system finds more energy than expected and more moisture than expected simultaneously, it does not just get a little worse, it gets dramatically worse. The pressure gradient tightens, the winds increase, the rainfall rates accelerate, and every hazard associated with the system, tornadoes, flooding, damaging winds, severe hail, every single one of those hazards gets amplified beyond what the initial forecast suggested. That is where we are right now on this storm. And that is why this Thursday morning forecast matters so much more than whatever you may have seen earlier this week. Let me walk y'all through the atmospheric science behind why this system intensified the way it has, because I think understanding it helps you take it seriously in the right way. The core driver here is the jet stream, that river of fast-moving air in the upper atmosphere that steers storm systems and provides the energy for them to develop. Right now, the jet stream is doing something really significant across the central United States. It is diving deeply southward, what meteorologists call a negative tilt trough. And when the jet stream takes on that negative tilt configuration, it dramatically increases the divergence aloft, meaning air is being pulled away from the surface at an accelerated rate, which causes surface pressure to drop rapidly and the storm system at the surface to strengthen quickly. The jet stream energy moving into the flooding threat, this is where this storm gets serious for an enormous number of people, potentially more people than the tornado threat, just because of the geographic scale of the rainfall that is coming. The slow movement of this system combined with that supercharged moisture supply I described is going to produce rainfall totals that are going to be very difficult for a lot of watersheds to handle. The areas I am most concerned about are the Ozarks and surrounding river basins, portions of Missouri, Arkansas, and eastern Oklahoma, where the combination of steep terrain and heavy rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour during the peak of the event could produce flash flooding that develops rapidly and moves fast. Flash flooding is the #1 weather-related killer in the United States, y'all. More people die from flooding than from tornadoes every single year. And the reason so many people die from flooding is that people consistently underestimate it. They see a road with water running across it and they think they can make it through. They think their truck is tall enough. They think it is just a couple of inches. And the thing about moving water is that it does not care how tall your truck is. 6 inches of fast moving water can knock a person off their feet. 12 inches of fast moving water can carry a vehicle. If you come to a flooded road this weekend, any flooded road, any amount of water, you cannot clearly see the bottom of, please turn around, don't drown is not just a catchy phrase. It is the thing that will keep you alive when every other instinct is telling you to just drive through it. Storm total rainfall for this event in the heaviest bands is looking like 4 to 8 inches across portions of the Ozarks and Mid-South, with locally higher amounts possible where training thunderstorms set up and repeatedly drop heavy rain over the same areas. Rivers in this region are already running at above normal levels from earlier spring rainfall, and adding 4 to 8 inches on top of already saturated ground and already elevated river levels is a formula for significant river flooding in addition to the flash flood threat. The Arkansas River, the White River, the Current River, these systems are going to be rising rapidly this weekend, and communities in the floodplains along those rivers need to be paying very close attention to the forecast and to their local emergency management communications over the next 48 to 72 hours. If there is any chance your property could be affected by river flooding this weekend, please make decisions about your valuables and your plans before the water rises, not after. On the northern side of this storm, the cold air wrapping around the back of the low is going to produce a late season snow event across portions of the central and northern Rockies, the high plains of Wyoming and Colorado, and potentially into western Nebraska and South Dakota. This is the part of the storm that I think is going to surprise people the most, because the warm temperatures of the past couple weeks have really set the expectation that snow is done. It is not done, y'all. The elevations in the Colorado Rockies are going to see significant snowfall accumulations, potentially 1 to 2 feet above 8,000 feet. And even